Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Harvey Levin here.
Fabian here.
Derek here.
So Elon Musk started the week with an ominous tweet, and it seems to be connected to the war in Ukraine.
Yep.
And he seems to be saying the Russians are out to kill him.
Yeah. And it's actually good that he clarified this, because before he added the context of the Russians, that tweet that he sent out, the tweet, we should just say, says, "If I die under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing you." He tweeted that, I believe, yesterday at some point. He left that tweet up for a while on its own. People didn't know what he was referring to. Not shortly thereafter, but at some point thereafter, he tweeted like a transcript, it was like something sent in Russia, and he translated it to English. It was from, I think, the guy who heads up the Russian space agency. Yeah. And apparently that guy had sent that out to Russian media, and Elon became privy to that.
We should say what it is.
Yeah.
So this guy who runs the Russian space agency essentially attacked Elon, saying that he was basically with Starlink. He was keeping the internet strong in Ukraine,
right?
Which was vital, by the way, in fighting the war against Russia, because it's communication. So here's what this dude did. He sent this to Russian media, warning Elon, "You will be held accountable like an adult, no matter how much you'll play the fool."
And the reason that they see this as sort of like an official position from Elon is they were saying they see this as, you were in cahoots with the U.S. You were in cahoots in sort of helping Ukraine in an official capacity, which we see as sort of like an act of war. That's kind of how I took it, right?
Well, yeah, but there's one other thing, that Elon has reason to say what he said, because the Russian government tends to assassinate people they don't like.
Yeah.
They have assassinated people over and over and over again all over the world. And, you could laugh at this and say, well, Elon's but here's the deal.
He actually might be trolling. I really don't know.
Elon he may be trolling, but they do disappear people in Russia. They don't have the same protection.
They kill them.
They don't have the same protection.
They disappear people in Russia, not in the USA.
They killed this guy who was outside of Russia. What's his name? Or they tried Navalny, where I think he was in Germany, and they poisoned him, and then they poisoned him a second time.
And he was just a journalist.
And then there was another guy, remember, at the airport, that all of a sudden got attacked and died. The Russian government, they're monsters. And it makes sense that Elon would say this. It is important to note that Elon posted this 6 minutes after the guy from the Russian space agency sent his report out to the Russian media.
Right.
So it's linked.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and this is, partly you're right. This is Elon's sort of persona on Twitter, is to sort of say these things, but he's also putting it out there that he's been threatened by an official in Russia. This guy is not a nobody. He's not a rabble rouser. He's the chief of Russia's space agency. He's an actual member of government who is saying sort of these very inflammatory things about a very public figure. So Elon put it out there. He did it sort of half trolling, but there's a real danger here when you're messing with the Russian government.
I have a question for you. Should the Biden administration, look, if this guy would have gone after a member of Congress, a senator, say, I think the Biden administration would say something. Elon Musk has affirmatively helped Ukraine fight this war, and now there's a threat against Elon. Should the Biden administration say something to defend Elon?
No.
I don't think they can. I think they're in a very tough situation. They have had to play this situation in Russia and Ukraine so carefully, because they don't want to start World War III. And if you start sort of saber rattling with the Russians over comments from the space chief about Elon Musk, I think you might cross a red line.
Why?
And you might get us involved in the conflict.
Say, you better not start threatening our people. Why not say?
Do you guys think this threat is actually real? I think it's hyperbole. And I think Elon knows it's hyperbole, and he's kind of leaning into it jokingly. His tweet is not supposed to be taken super seriously. He's a troll, Harvey. This is what he does.
But I think Dmitry Rogozin's tweet is serious. He's saying you are actually facilitating the effort of our enemy. No. And they're not happy about that, because the communications are what's helping the Ukrainian resistance.
If there were no history of Russians assassinating critics, then I would agree with you.
Sure.
And I also think Elon is not cowering in a corner.
Right. I don't think he's scared.
I agree with you, but that doesn't mean that this isn't a threat, given the treachery of the Russian government.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess what I'm saying about the Biden administration is that, look, Elon's a controversial guy. I'm not sure he should be as controversial as he is, because honestly, I think he's doing a lot of good. I really believe that. But
he is a lightning rod, though. If you take a position that you like Elon Musk, you are on the other side of a lot of people these days. Because even just taking over Twitter, it is incredibly polarizing. He invited Mike Lindell back onto the platform.
Well, no. But and we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Lindell is wacko.
Yeah. But he's in bed with those wackos.
But I don't think he is. And we're going to get into that.
Fair enough.
You know what?
It's a strange bedfellow situation is what it is.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time. We're going to do things out of order.
Okay.
We're going to get into Bill Maher and Twitter.
Perfect.
Because it relates to this.
I feel like he's been railing about this for at least a couple weeks now. He's been on this. He's been sort of making the same monologue like twice in a row.
Well, I think this was the best one he's done in a long time. I think this was so compelling that, when you go back in time and you look at all of the cautions that people had back in, where is this?
Orson Welles, is that what you're talking about? Or?
No. Way before
1858 when the New York Times were
No.
You're talking about the early
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm
1487?
talking. Yes. No, I think it was 1200.
Oh, God.
Now, where is this? It was the printing press.
That's the Dark Ages
Let's
there.
play a little of this.
But this idea that we can clean up Twitter and protect you from fake news and disinformation, it's so ridiculous. It's like fact-checking the graffiti on the bathroom wall of a dive bar. We called this number and we didn't have a good time. People always lie. That's what people do. Every age is the misinformation age.
So he went into going back to 1487 when the Pope cautioned against the misuse of the printing press and said that it was the source of, as he put it, pernicious writing.
Right.
Which sounds like fake news, right?
That's right.
Back in 1487. Then he gets into 1858 with the Telegraph, where the New York Times worried that Americans couldn't handle the transatlantic telegraph because, as it put it, it was superficial and too fast for the truth.
Right. So he's saying the anxiety over disinformation and misinformation
Has
dissemination
existed
is
forever.
as old as our ability to disseminate information. The
Right.
printing press was the first ability to spread information widely, and it immediately had problems with misinformation.
Right. People were afraid at the time. Right.
Right, but everyone talks about the freedom of the press and freedom of speech as something to exchange ideas. What people are saying Elon Musk is doing is inviting the worst of the worst who have bad ideas that we know are
but
bad
it's
ideas. That's what people are saying. I disagree with it.
No. I think I think it's wrong. It's not inviting the people who are the extremists. It's allowing them.
Right.
And there's a huge difference between the two. What he is saying is that we should be listening to assholes and have enough confidence in our ability to
filter them out.
To filter them out.
Right.
To filter
tune them out, basically.
And as he says, the discourse of society is filled with half-truths, quarter-truths, and how do you start parsing that and saying, well, this half-truth we'll put on, this half-truth we don't.
Right.
He said, he had this most brilliant line. God, I wish I were smart.
Sometimes misinformation is history's first draft.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good
I
line.
wish I were as smart as this guy.
He's very, very clever.
But no. But let's just dwell on that. That it is history's first draft. When you look at something recent with coronavirus, where we thought that the vaccine would prevent infection, and it doesn't. But it does something else that's beneficial. But it evolved. Mask wearing evolved. So when you talk about history's first draft, allow the discourse. Allow it to. Look. Twitter banned the idea that the virus emanated from a lab in China.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, it's a viable theory.
Right. If not a likely theory.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like when you start. Here's what I don't want. I don't want a parent. Whether it's Elon Musk or whoever runs Twitter, I don't want them to be my parent.
Right.
I don't want them to protect me from bad information. I want to be able to ferret it out. That's the point of free speech.
Yeah.
And you've got to tolerate abhorrent speech
Right.
in order to maintain free speech.
I'm with you, but let me play devil's advocate for a minute. So when he says sometimes misinformation is history's first draft, a lot of people on the left are saying, so why are we going back to the wrong drafts? So we had a first draft of history that had Nazi propaganda. Why go back to that? Why not eliminate the early drafts
Right. If
we have proven to be wrong and we have progressed from and are only dangerous to indoctrinate new people
and
into
to potentially
old
incite
bad
violence.
ideas? That is exactly so. That is what the
guess
left
what?
is saying.
Those-
Why Nazi ideas?
right.
We don't need them.
And guess
Do
what?
you need them?
We don't need them.
Are they good?
I need them so that I can discredit them, so that you don't have people going in the back door indoctrinating people who are vulnerable, who don't have access to the discourse of here's what the Nazis say, and here's how to debunk it. If you don't hear the debunkers because you didn't hear the initial statement, then the people with that initial statement are going to go through the back door and indoctrinate the most vulnerable people in our society.
That's a good point.
It's why you allow full discourse.
And it's, I guess maybe
then they're in their silo echo chamber, and you've lost them forever
Right.
if you can't debunk the
to
ideas.
Harvey's point, I
Good
guess
argument.
it's better to see these abhorrent people out in the open.
Yes.
and
Put them in
spot
context and
them.
let us beat the ideas
Yes.
down.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. It's tricky. But anyway,
I don't. Okay, well, we'll move on.
yeah.
Fabian's got a live shot, so we're moving this along.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought it was interesting that Travis Scott is fully back.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. He was booked for this performance at 11 in Miami this weekend for at least a couple weeks, and it came to fruition, and he delivered. And it was a full-blown Travis Scott experience.
He did not hold back.
Did not hold back, was not shy, very high energy. The place was packed. It was full of his celebrity friends and just regular patrons as well. And he performed. He performed his ass off. And I think you can sort of see the catharsis in him a little bit in some of our video that I think he was like, he feels like he's been sort of put on timeout. And I feel like he feels like he's done his time. That's sort of what I sort of sense from all this.
I was shocked that he didn't dip a toe back in and sort of turn it down a little bit. He was back to full force.
It was,
and I think that was a risky move in some sense to
Does
tell the
it-
crowd to lose your mother effing minds. I mean, the last time the crowd lost their mother effing minds, it was a tragedy.
Yeah.
And he still went for it. Now, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. I'm not going to give a value judgment.
Does it help that nothing happened?
It
Yeah, it
really
does.
helps that nothing happened. It
But
really helps.
I would argue that 11 is more of a controlled environment than a festival. He's got a festival, and I think he's headlining something in the summer of in South America. There's going to be thousands.
No, 100,000.
100,000 people are going to be in attendance for that, and he's going to headline something like that. That's going to be the real test. You're in a festival environment. Are you going to foster this kind of chaotic environment, or is he going to turn it down in that sort of setting? That's what I'm actually
you're
curious
right.
about.
Is this proof of concept for a larger setting, or does this mean that his performance style belongs in controlled, small settings going forward?
I-
He
that's
should
a
be
fair
a club
point, too.
guy and not a
Right.
festival guy
It's a
anymore.
hypothesis right there.
I do not see how you distinguish now. If Travis Scott did what he did over the weekend, where he was full throttle,
Yeah.
I don't see that. Seems to be him saying, "I'm doing what I do," because I don't know that he's going to do anything different at this performance. Whether he gives a caution at the beginning, I don't know. Whether they're more heads up, I don't know. But if he did this here, I don't see how he pulls back with 100.
So let me ask you, if you control the venue that is the larger venue, do you still sign him up knowing that this is how Travis performs?
Well,
he
he
only
is
performs at
signed
100%.
up.
Yeah, but is that a smart move? Should
Right.
those people bear responsibility if it goes poorly now that
Well,
they've seen that he only knows how
yes.
to perform in one gear?
Well, you know what happens if something really goes wrong the next time. The venue is dead.
Is dead. That's what. It's a huge risk for the
Yeah.
venue because Travis has shown I perform in fifth gear. That's
Right.
it. I don't have different gears. I don't know how to perform in first, second,
Right.
and third. I perform this way.
So to your point, I think what the festival organizers might have to do to sort of offset that, because they know Travis is uncontrollable, right? What they're going to try to do, I think, is sort of control everything else around him: security, the patrons, how many people are coming in. I know there's a high volume of people coming in, but I think they're going to try to, like, on all sides, just monitor everything and try to control that, because they know they can't control the artist.
and that goes a long way if they take these precautionary measures and they.
But
they
if there's
show that
one
they've
more,
actually
if
learned
there's
lessons.
one more death, just one more death in a Travis Scott show, that's the end for him. And I think it's the end for him at that point, which is a risky prospect for him too.
Well,
he needs to settle.
You
I don't
should
know.
say it depends on the kind of death. If it's a drug-related death, no.
Agreed.
Yeah, but if it's another one, if it's another concert
If it's
crush
one of
thing,
those,
if it's a
yeah,
concert
it's
crush
over.
thing,
You're
it's
playing
bad
Russian
for him.
roulette
It's
every
over.
time. Every
Okay,
time.
we're going to end with Amber Heard.
I love this story.
Yeah, I mean, you called me over the weekend and said, I want to put this up, and I thought, this is a good idea.
Well, the reason, so this was a long time coming. This had been sort of bubbling up for a few days now. As Amber was testifying, what people were doing, and look, these are Johnny Depp defenders. These are people that hate Amber Heard, and this Amber Heard hate, and I made a point of saying this in the post, it's real. People do not like this woman. These hashtags that are trending about her, Amber Heard's a psychopath, Amber Heard is a liar. These are full hashtags that exist on Twitter. And look, I'm actually Team Johnny, frankly. I'll be upfront about that, but she deserves a fair shake and a fair shot on the stand to give her side of the story. And we don't need misinformation or fake news, and that's sort of what happened here. So there were 3 instances. One was Amber on the stand testifying. I think it was on Thursday. And at one point, it looks like she pauses and holds a pose for the camera when she has like a tissue to her eye. The video online at first looked doctored to me. I was like, somebody paused it and made it seem like she held it longer than she did. That's not the case. She did, in fact, hold that pose. So that criticism in that specific instance is warranted.
They were saying that she was doing cocaine during that post.
There's more. So the two
Which,
other,
by the way, is absurd.
It is. Two other instances. So
beyond
there's another tissue moment where people, they think they see her snorting something, and then people were making the leap, oh my God, it must be cocaine. I don't know if she's snorting anything. Look, she might have a snot rocket or something. I don't know what.
Snorting.
The very notion that she would snort cocaine on the stand is so positively absurd that it could gain any traction is shocking.
And it did gain traction. So that's one.
Can I just stop you for 1 second? We just talked about,
information
and banning stuff. I'm all for letting people say that, but that's as stupid.
And that's
as stupid as anything.
This is us batting it down. See, this is us. This is your theory playing out in real time. It's so funny. Anyway, so the cocaine thing's bullshit. More bullshit. The Talented Mr. Ripley, the Matt Damon movie, which is based on a book, etc. People claim that in her first day of testimony on Wednesday, that she had literally ripped off lines from the movie word for word, and this viral side-by-side quote of hers with her alleged words and one of the characters' words were put up and circulated wide. It wasn't real. Somebody found the video, and somebody.
Well, we have. This is from the Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
Like when I was around Johnny, I felt like the most beautiful person in the whole world. It made me feel seen, made me feel like $1 million. It felt like a dream. It felt like absolute magic. And then he would disappear. And there'd be just no way to get a hold of him, no way to contact him.
The thing with Dickie, it's like the sun shines on you and it's glorious. And then he forgets you and it's very, very cold.
So I'm learning.
When you have his attention, you feel like you're the only person in the world. That's why everybody loves him.
But just so people
Similar
understand.
sentiment.
Hold on, just so people understand. The one with the music track underneath was not Amber.
Yeah, that's Gwyneth Paltrow and Matt Damon on a boat from a scene from that movie. But as
you can get a backing track,
right.
Well, with emotion.
As you can clearly hear, they're not the same words at all. Maybe a similar sentiment,
Very
which is
similar
that's
sentiment.
a fair
But so
argument.
what?
But what people were claiming was that she said it word
And
for
she
word.
lifted it.
It was not true. It was not true. So 2 instances of fake news, 1 instance of real news. Fine, you can criticize her for the holding the pose. I'll give you that.
Melania might have done that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, again, what I'll say about Amber Heard is keep your opinions about what side you're on. Keep it out and just be objective. Like, fine, you don't like her, you don't believe her, that's fine, but give her chance to speak her testimony and don't spread misinformation about it. Like, that's the worst thing we can do. Like, in the moment like this.
Let me ask you a question, because I think this is the tougher example for Bill Maher. The first one, she put a thing over her nose and it might have looked like she's doing cocaine. That's speculation. That's idle speculation of morons. Maybe she is doing cocaine. Who knows? We'll never know. But she's not, obviously.
Right.
What's the value of this, Harvey? What is the value of some idiot putting this out there and then saying what it does is it creates the impression that Amber Heard is doing a rehearsal and she's not.
What are you intimating here? That we should censor that?
No.
I'm asking what is the value of it.
I do not.
I'm asking what is the actual affirmative positive value of this?
None, and let it
zero.
And let it breathe. Put it out there. Don't censor it, because if you're looking at things as does it have value, Who's making the decision of value? Let it out there. It's,
well, it certainly has harm,
it's
right?
Dumb. No,
Oh, yes,
hold
it
on.
does. Oh, yes, it does.
Oh,
Because
hold
this
on.
tells people, some people believed this
Okay, but
and
so,
believe that Amber
so
Heard
what?
is
Hey,
reciting
But
lies.
then
what?
Somebody actually found the video clip. The theory that we're talking about actually played out in real time.
Exactly.
Somebody found the video clip.
Yes.
They did the side-by-side comparison.
And they debunked it.
And,
And
we,
they debunked
we
it.
did a story about it and debunked it further. So now that narrative is done.
That's what you need
So that's sort of what
in
happened.
a free
Fair
society.
enough. How many
Derek,
people saw the follow-up story and how many people just took this
Derek,
and walked away with
Derek,
the misimpression?
So
a lot.
What's
A
your
lot.
solution? You want to ban it?
I don't.
You got what?
I
Yes,
don't.
yes
I
or
don't.
no?
I don't.
Okay.
But I think this is their strongest argument that
It's
this
not.
stuff has no value.
Don't you
and it only has harm.
Dude, you
And when
went,
you debunk
you
it, not
went
everyone
to
knows you
Yale
debunked it.
Law School.
I'm
you,
a free speech
You
guy,
know the
but-
principle that you have to tolerate dumb, inaccurate shit
Yeah.
in order to preserve freedom.
And with that, I think we should end because actually I think it's my
Fabian's
live
got a
shot.
live
I gotta
shot.
go.
We were heated.
We will see you guys
See you
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Bye, guys.